the police are here, we're gonna be okay. You know, they're here, they responded.
Okay. Now, were you eventually evacuated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how were you evacuated?
We sat there for a while. I continued to look through the crack of the desk, and eventually a man stuck his face into the window of our classroom. And at the time he said, "I'm officer," and then I don't know what he said. I don't know if he said his name and then like who he was with, or I don't know. He identified himself as "I'm officer," and that's all I remember. And then he left. And so I got up from where I was sitting with the kids, and I went to the door. And when I looked out the window, I could see another officer that was like a cross in the grass, wearing a vest, and he had a gun. And I also saw another officer, and then I could see him going down to the other classrooms.
Was this time that you saw these officers, was it a considerable amount of time after you saw that initial police officer with the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can you tell the jury how you got your students out of that classroom?
The officer did come back to the door, and so I went ahead and I cracked open the door, and he came to the door, and he said, "I'm Officer so-and-so with whatever agency." He said, "Prepare your students to evacuate." And I said, "Okay." So I'm just thinking back to, again, like our training, and, you know, I'm thinking we just need to make sure we stay together. I went back to I closed the door, went back to my students, I crouched down, and I said, "Guys, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna evacuate, we're leaving." I said, "Hold each other's hands, and don't let go." And they did. They did exactly what I told them.
Did you explain to them that they were going to see a bunch of police officers?
I did. I said, "There's some people outside, they have guns." I said, "It's okay, they're the good ones."
And at that point, y'all were evacuated?
Yes, ma'am.
And in thinking about that day, Miss Robin, what are your thoughts about your students that day?
They just did such a good job. They were such good listeners, and they followed me, and they did exactly what I said. And I'm just glad that we made it out.